All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. This time we're going to be going over a little bit of a deck tech theory crafting video on Lorcana. We're going to be going over a list that I'm seriously considering as one of the first decks that I'll be trying out whenever the game does come out, if the game ever comes out. You know, with Amethyst and Sapphire being the two colors that I choose. Now, I say if the game ever comes out because, you know, for those who don't know, there is some type of looming lawsuit going on between them and Upper Deck. I'm not going to go into the details of that. So if you have any questions on that, you'll have to do the Google search yourself, looking up, Upper Deck versus Ravensburger. Ravensburger are the people that are making Lorcana. So just getting that out of the way. And today we're going to be using a website called Lorcana.com, and I want to say thank you to the person in my comments on one of my other videos who told me about this website. Really solid website where they've got pretty good quality quality version of all the cards that we can look through here and start making the rough draft of what our first deck is going to be. So with that in mind, and now understand, all the cards have not been released yet. We don't know all of the cards these different factions are going to have yet. We don't know. I think we only have half of the cards revealed so far, and I believe the game is set to be released in August if everything goes according to plan. So, with that in mind, we're working with what we have, and we're going to start talking about some of these cards and coming up with at least the core of the deck we want to make. So, I'm going to go straight into it. Okay, how do I say this? Because we don't know all the cards that have been revealed so far, I don't know which decks actually have the best removal and the best card draw. From the looks of things currently, cards like this are probably going to be the best card draw in the game, right? This is for those who play Magic the Gathering, this is your 3-mana Divination, draw 2 cards. But this is even better than Divination. Divination can't be played face down as a mana cost, right? Or as a mana resource, right? And Divination cannot be, played for free by tapping a 3-cost creature or less, right? Like, that's not an option. So this card is just, out of this world good, right? The amount of utility, the strength in this card, and the synergy it has with, I'll say 2 other cards, but specifically 1 card. Where is she? There she is. Maleficent Sorceress. So remember, the way that singing works in this game, it's a way to cheat out your abilities. Sorry, where is it? There it is. A character with a cost of 3 or more can tap to sing this song for free. Draw 2 cards. So the idea is you don't play this on turn 3. You can just pay for its cost on turn 3 if your hand's dead. You can do that. But the idea is actually to play Maleficent Sorceress here on turn 3 to draw a card, right? And she's a 2/2 body that can quest for 1. That's all fine. That's not incredible, but that's fine. The fact that she draws a card is what really gives her value. And then next turn, if she survived, if she didn't get hit by like a Fire the Cannons or some other spell or some other ability, well, no problem. Now we're going to tap her down, not to quest, but to sing Friends on the Other Side, to draw 2 cards. And remember, we haven't used any resources. We just tapped down our character. Just incredible. So in this kind of deck, we're going to go up 4 Friends on the Other Side right away, and we're going to go up 4 Maleficent Sorceress right away. Okay. Also, one thing we need to consider, there's some other cards too. Let me talk about this real quick before we go over to what I said we need to consider. Develop Your Brain is a 1-cost, inkable, means you can play it for ink, right? And so is, what is her name here? The Sorceress, okay? You can also use her as ink later in the game if for whatever reason you don't want to use a cycle ability like this, a card draw, a cantrip, rather, not a cycle, but a cantrip. But then also there is Develop Your Brain. This is a 1-cost inkable that lets you look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put 1 into your hand and the other on the bottom bottom of your deck. Put 1 into your hand and the other on the bottom of your deck. So you're looking at 2 cards. You're saying, I want that one. You pick one of them, and the other you put on the bottom of your deck. This is a one-cost ability, guys. A one-cost action, excuse me. This card is extremely powerful. And then later in the game, if for whatever reason you don't want to use this extremely strong ability for one, you can use it for ink if needed. So we're going to go 4 of those right off the bat. Look at our draw engine already. Draw a card, draw 2 cards. 12 cards, done. Staple if you're running a Amethyst... Amethyst, Sapphire? Yeah, Sapphire, Amethyst, Amethyst, Sapphire deck, okay? Now, there's one other card we just have to get out of the way. It's another song. So, I think there is going to be some comparison of running this and running Dragon Breath. I think it's called from Red. Hang on one second. I think it's called Dragon's Breath. Dragon Fire, excuse me. 5 cost, banish chosen character. That is very strong, right? That is very strong. Let It Go is inkable. The other one is not, and this one can be sung. That's the key difference here. That is incredible, right? This can potentially just be free. And the only downside that this card has over Dragon Breath or whatever, I think I messed it up again. What's it called? Dragon Fire? Dragon Fire. The one big downside is, yes, technically you are, where is it? You are technically giving them ink, right? So you're ramping them, quote unquote. But you have to see it as like, you don't want to just use this on a 2 cost or a 3 cost unless the 2 or 3 cost is just that powerful, right? So let's just go ahead and like, that's a 4 of. This is your removal so far. Again, we don't know what all is in the set, but this card is very good. Like, this card is very good. This removes any character potentially for free if you have a 5 cost down, which is the card we're going to talk about next. Okay. So again, very, very good. It can remove anything in the game. And hey, I mean, for whatever reason, if you had to, you could just use it on one of your own characters to ramp up. You know, if you've got a character that's just has 0 value or something. I don't know. I'm just saying there's utility in it. In fact, here's an idea. Maybe they give one of your characters Reckless that you don't want to have Reckless. So instead of throwing it away or whatever, maybe you let it go and use it to... well, shoot, maybe they give your Aurora Dreaming Guardian Reckless, and instead of swinging, you actually just use her to sing the song, and now she can no longer swing, right? That would be interesting. And I'm just throwing out some ideas. So that's a perfect segue into the next character that is going to be a 4 of in the deck. Aurora Dreaming Guardian. We're just going to click 4 real quick because it's that good. This is a 5 cost 3/5. That isn't that in and of itself is not exceptional. Right, that's nothing crazy, but it's potentially a 3 cost 3/5 when you add this card, which we're going to add 4 of before we even read it, Aurora Regal Princess. So the curve you want to go for in a deck like this is, number 1, develop your brain to make sure you get this curve, or to the best of your ability, get this curve, right? Where you go turn 1, develop your brain, turn 2, Aurora Regal Princess, into turn 3, that's right, turn 3, Aurora Dreaming Guardian. Because Aurora Dreaming Guardian has shift 3, guys, which means you may pay 3 ink, 3 resources, to play this card on top of one of your characters named Aurora. So if you played Aurora Regal Princess on turn 2, the last turn, turn 3, you can play Aurora Dreaming Guardian, and from what I understand, your character... whenever you shift with a character, they take on the state of the previous card that it overlaid or it shifted on top of. So you'll now be able to quest for 2 with this card, or potentially challenge or whatever. And then she also has this other ability. Your other characters gain ward. Now, not her. She doesn't have ward. Your other characters gain this ability. So, guys, this is just an extremely powerful synergy. It's not like a combo or anything. It's just a very, very strong synergy in the deck. And Regal Princess is just good, by the way. And everything we've played so far is inkable. I think, yeah, what is this? 100%. 24 out of 24. These are all inkable cards. So it's just purely strong, right? It's just pure value. Another card we want to talk about real quick is Elsa. Okay, I think this is going to be a 4 of. It'll be your other 3 cost, right? So you have your, well, potentially it'll be like your third 3 cost if you get Dreaming Guardian on curve, which will not always happen, but it could. But Elsa Snow Queen, she can just exert chosen opposing characters so that way you can deal with them on the board. and we're going to talk about that in a second too. I don't want to jump the gun there, so to speak. Let me hang on with Elsa Snow Queen. Hang on one second. Let's at least put her at a 3 of, but I think she's more like a 4 of personally. We'll just keep it at 4 for now. Sorry, I don't want to get too technical. So let me say this real quick. So this is your optimal turn 1, 2, 3. You have 2 paths you can go down, and mix and match them however you need to. The first thing is it's always going to be develop your brain. Turn 1, develop your brain, okay? Into turn 2, and you're going to be searching for these answers with develop your brain, or searching for the next part of this with develop your brain. So turn 1, develop your brain. Into turn 2, princess, regal princess. Into turn 3, dreaming guardian. That's your first absolute perfect ideal start, right? Or if you didn't get that, no big deal. You can go turn 1, develop your brain. Turn 2, there will be a lull there, a little bit of a lull. But then you go for turn 3, Maleficent Sorceress. You know, or hey, if you have Regal Princess and you don't have Dreaming Guardian, you still go Regal Princess on turn 2, right? And then into Maleficent Sorceress. So you can draw a card into turn 4, a free Friends on the Other Side, and then play whatever you want from there with 4 resources, right? And with those 4 resources, there's a new card that's been released, Zeus, God of Lightning. Okay, that's his title, God of Lightning. This, in my opinion, is a 4 of in what we're doing with the deck. Because the idea is, like I said, you're going to, and we don't know what other removal is going to be available to us. We don't have any idea on what is going to be available for, removal. But guess what? This card is easily removable with Elsa. With Elsa, you just tap down any character. It says exert a chosen opposing character. Not like character with cost this or less, or with power, toughness this or less. No, just any chosen opposing character. And then, and that's free, by the way. You just tap her down. And yeah, I understand they're going to try to get rid of her. But okay, if they're trying to get rid of her, well, first they're going to have to probably take out your Dreaming Guardian, right? It depends on the board state, but you get my point. And then you're going to smash in with a Zeus. So you tap down their guy. Okay, well, now I'm going to challenge him for 4 with a Zeus. And if Zeus survives, are they going to waste a turn trying to take out him? They need to. They have to try to take him out, or he's going to take someone else out the next round. Or they're going to try and get your Elsa Snow Queen. And guess what? If there's nothing to deal with, I don't know why I keep coming down here. If there's nothing that you can deal with the next turn, if they chose not to exert anything and they traded into Elsa, okay, I'll just quest for 2 with this guy. I see this guy as extremely good. Rafiki, not as much. Okay, yes, now this is, I think, is this the first card? Yeah, this is the first card we have that's not inkable. And it is kind of like removal. That's how we're playing it, right? Rafiki is not quite as good. It's, now it is better in one way, that it's always a 3. So if it swings in and smashes something that's like a 2/3 where it has 1 left, and then they attack into Rafiki to trade him, he'll probably get 2 cards for 1, right? It is better in that sense. So it is probably something we're still going to run. But Zeus has that quest for 2. I really think that's going to come into play. Now, from what I understand, rush characters cannot just immediately rush in and quest. They can only challenge the turn they're played. But still, I think that quest for 2 might come in pretty big in certain situations. However, like I said, he does have the downside of being challenger +4. So he's only getting that 4 attack when he's attacking, not when he's being attacked. So I guess what I'm trying to say is 9 times out of 10, what'll probably happen is you swing in with Zeus to take out their guy. Okay, that was a 1-for-1 trade already, and not even 1-for-1 because our guy's still alive. And now on their turn, they're going to have to take out our guy. Right, so that is good value because it took a turn away from them. And if they did not deal with him, well, now I can just either challenge into the next guy or quest for 2. I feel like that's very good. And Rafiki, I'm going to add as a 4 of as well, just because he does have that ability to just smash in on turn 3. But I don't know. We have a lot of 3 drops. I want to take him down too. We'll see. We'll mess with this all later. We'll figure it out later. Because we're really just trying to create the core of the deck. So now I think that, and now that I mentioned that, I think these 30 cards, and like I said, you might want to go down a Zeus. You might want to go down like down 1 Zeus, maybe down 1 Elsa. You might want to tweak it a little bit, but I think this is the core of what would be a Sapphire Amethyst deck. I think this is the core. And from there, now you can go a few ways. And in fact, there might be a few other cards that are core. Where's Pascal at? I think Pascal is basically a core card because, okay, while you have another character in play, this character gains evasive, right? So, you know, if you have down, like, let's just give an example, right? If you go turn 1 Pascal, where is he? Did I add him? Yeah, there he is. If you go turn 1 Pascal into turn 2 Regal Princess into turn 3 Dreaming Guardian, they'll never be able to deal with Pascal unless they have a evasive character as well, and the evasive character that can swing in time to deal with him, you know. But one thing you do have to also consider is turn 3 smashing down Dreaming Guardian. You can actually use her that turn. Like if you go turn 2 Regal Princess into turn 3 Regal Guardian, or Dreaming Guardian, excuse me, you will be able to rest her and let it go one of their characters right away. That, I'm telling you, I think there's a lot to be said about that little combo there. Or you could even friends on the other side her as well, by the way, because it's a cost 3 or more can do that. So anyway, so I think this is kind of the core of the deck. Some people might argue with me on like maybe Dr. Facilier. He's kind of like a 2-cost, what's his name, Zeus. But the problem with him is, first of all, he's only a challenge 2, and he doesn't have Rush. So while he is inkable, which is nice, he's not really a threat unless he can attack. So, you know, it's one of those things where, like, yeah, it's going to be hard to get him off the board with a 4 strength, a 4 toughness, you know what I mean, on turn 2, turn 3, potentially. But it's still, it's kind of one of those things where he only hits for 2 as well. So he can't just take out, you know, if you go turn, I'm trying to think of an example. I don't know. I don't know a good example off the top of my head, but I just know if you have an Elsa, he can't even take out an Elsa, right? Unless he swings into her twice. I don't know. All I'm going to say is I don't think this card is quite there, though it's not a bad card. It's definitely a good card, and it might be. It's something you could definitely fit in a Amethyst Sapphire deck. But I think there are 3 other packages you're going to look for in particular. Number 1 is some type of combo deck with, like, maybe not necessarily combo, but like a combo package at least with Ariel, Belle, Coconut Basket, and Maurice. And we need to see what other items are going to be available to us. That's the real trick there. I'm going to talk about a combo deck with Ariel in another video, because there is actually a pretty decent combo you can do with Ariel in Ruby. We're going to talk about later. And it will all depend on how much support Blue and Red gets, or Sapphire and Ruby get for their items. but yeah, I think that's one package route you can go, is the Engineer item package. The other route you can go is just the extreme cost efficiency through cards like Jasmine and Maleficent Sinister Visitor. I mean, this is just a good curve, guys. If you go turn 3 Jasmine for a 3/3 that quests for 2 into a Maleficent Sinister Visitor 4 cost 3/4 that quests for 2, and both of those are inkable for later stages of the game, that's just good value, guys, again. And then last but not least, I think the final one, oh, and I should say that Mickey Mouse Detective is probably core. I don't know. As a 2 of, at least, I think he's probably just core. It depends. I guess. So there actually is 2 more. You can go the super well-rounded package with the super cost-efficient characters. Oh, this is the card I forgot to mention earlier too with Pascal. Some people might argue. I got distracted about Dr. Facilier. Maleficent Biding Her Time is another very strong 1 cost. We'll even throw 2 in just so we don't forget it. Anyway, sorry guys. The other package route you could go is probably part items, like part of this item package, and part ramp, where you actually go Magic Mirror so you can get to 4 resources very quickly by playing your detective and by playing your 1 jump ahead, right? Like you can use your 1 jump aheads, use your your Mickey Mouse Detectives, and start ramping so that you can start generating value from your Magic Mirror. And since that's an item, we might also want to include cards like, maybe not Ariel, so to speak, but like the Inventive Engineer here. We'll add 2 of her because she's a 3 cost. We have a lot in the 3 cost. We'll grab some coconut baskets and we'll grab like maybe two Maurice or so, right? That's kind of the idea there. And then last but not least, the final one that I was going to say is like, I think you probably want to go for like this like attack strategy. I don't know. Like, Scar Mastermind, he doesn't look like much, but I think this card's like deceptively good. He's a 6 cost. He's inkable. He quests for 2. He's a 5/4. And he has Insidious Plot. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -5 to their attack for this turn. So, like, just think about it. If they just played, okay, so what was he? He was, where is he? Scar. He's a 6 drop. So if they play something on turn 5, let's just pretend they played something on turn 5 that, had 5 attack. And then now it's our turn, right? Where we're on turn 6. We can tap down their character they just played with Elsa. Excuse me. And then completely dump that guy's attack, or whoever's attacking, whatever, and just smash in. There you go. That guy's gone. And you probably saved your character. Which I think this in combination with Zeus is still just actually so good. If Zeus survived, where it's like, all right, well, I don't care if you attack me again because it's not going to hurt my character. And your character, or, even if it does hurt my character, you'll lose the Zeus. Well, maybe not with Scar. And then, again, if you somehow can work in a Inventor package here, you'll also have your, where is it? Coconut Basket. Whenever you play a character, you may remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. You have this kind of resiliency package. So, some other cards I do at least want to talk about real quick. Jafar, Wicked Sorcerer. He is a slow version of the Zeus card we looked at. He's a slightly more, probably a little more consistent version, you could say, of Zeus. Both are 4 costs, but this guy is a 2/5 that becomes a 5/5 when challenging, whereas Zeus is a 4 cost 0/4 that becomes a 4/4 when challenging. This card is inkable. Zeus is not. The only thing Zeus really has over, has over Jafar, and it's no small matter, is he has Rush, which is a very big deal, and he has another Lord. That's another thing we need to probably consider is there might be Rush decks, guys, that are just kind of really good. Rush is a mechanic. I think I mentioned it when we were going over some of the cards in one of my previous videos. There's a reason Rush is a mechanic in a lot of games and not just normally allowed. In some card games, cards do kind of always have Rush. They can just attack the turn they're down. I'm pretty sure. But with this game, there's a reason it's a mechanic. It is very powerful. Rush can catch people off guard in so many ways. I do wish that they would make it where Rush characters could quest the turn they're in, the turn they're played, but I understand why they don't as well. That would probably just be too broken. Other cards to consider, excuse me, guys, is the White Rabbit's Pocket Watch, just giving any character you want Rush. Speaking of Rush, right? Some other really solid cards. I have mentioned in other videos as well that I want to start messing with learning what we can expect for 3 cost. It looks like from what I've seen so far that for 3 cost, you can either get a 3 cost 3/3/2 lore counter character or a 3 cost 3/4/1 lore counter character. Vanilla. We're talking about vanillas. Sorry, guys. And they're both going to be inkable. And I say that because, okay, here's a 3 cost 3/4 inkable 1 lore counter wardrobe. And then up here, Jasmine Disguise, we have an inkable 3 cost 3/3 vanilla character that can quest for 2, you see. So we are probably going to, it's probably going to be something along those lines. Same idea with the 1 cost. It looks like a 1 cost 2/2 that quests for 1 inkable is going to be the average, the standard, for 1 costs. So in other words, it might not be too crazy in the future to see a 1 cost 1/1 that quests for 2. And we kind of do see that in Biding Her Time, Maleficent Biding Her Time. This is a 1 cost 1/1 that quests for 2, and they've determined that this is so strong that this card also cannot be inkable, right? And it looks like it's just a common value, or maybe I don't actually know the values. It's that little triangle down there. Let me see what Regal Guardian is. Wait, so maybe that's a rare, actually. Maybe that symbol that we just saw, Let It Go and Biding Her Time, maybe that's a rare symbol. I'm sorry, guys, I don't actually know off the top of my head. Really cool either way. Good stuff to look at here. Good stuff to look for. This card was just recently previewed. This is a Donald Duck strutting his stuff. He's a 5 cost 4/3 with Ward, and he can quest for 2. The thing about these cards that have Ward, I do think this is relevant. I do think this will be a very powerful mechanic, because what it ensures is when I play this card, and in particular, let's just say this Donald Duck card. When I play Donald Duck, you are not going to be able to stop me from using him next turn and doing his ability, because opponents cannot choose this character except to challenge. So unless there's a character that is printed that says can challenge active characters or non-rested, non-exerted characters, then these Ward characters are just, they're for sure going to get to do what they want. They just have to wait the one turn to do it. But that's a big deal, right? Because of cards like Elsa, if I have board control and I drop Elsa and I start exerting your characters as they enter play, you're done for, right? Like, you're probably done for. And you might think, well, no, you'll eventually run out of things to swing in with. No, not necessarily, because of cards like Rafiki and cards like Zeus. I'll actually be able to just, like, if you paid 4, well, then I'm going to pay 4 as well. If you just paid 3, well, I can pay 3 as well, right? And then eventually, if any of my characters survive, if I go turn 6 into Scar Mastermind here, where I drop someone's attack, and now I've got multiple characters down, and you're not able to stabilize, you're just in so much trouble. But it's something to talk about, and it is something that makes this Ward mechanic very strong. Because notice, opponents can't choose this character except to challenge. Elsa Snow Queen exerts chosen opposing character. So you cannot choose him with this. You also cannot choose him with Let It Go. Put chosen character in their players' ink. You can't do that if they have Ward, which is also why I've been, talking about Aurora Dreaming Guardian. She's giving everyone Ward except herself. So if you go turn 3 Aurora by, overlapping with the Regal Princess, and then turn 4, I don't know, maybe you actually on turn 4 you just play like either a Maleficent, one of these Maleficents, and then you Let It Go one of their best characters, by tapping down your new Aurora Dreaming Guardian. And then if you go turn 5 Dreaming Guardian, where you have 2 down, I don't know what they're going to do, because now when you're dropping down cards like Snow Queen, Elsa Snow Queen, you're just going to be able to pick and choose your battles so nicely, and you're going to be able to establish such strong board control, if you don't draw dead. And, by running Develop Your Brain, or is it by running Develop Your Brain, by running Friends on the Other Side, you're going to be able to so easily get what you want. What's the word? Consistently. There's the word we're looking for. So real quick, let me take out the ones that, like I said, this is probably going to be staple. I don't know about Mickey Mouse. I don't know about Maurice. Should probably be staple because he's just so good. For those who don't know, I didn't even read some of these cards, guys. Maurice is a 6 cost 2/7 that quests for 2. He's huge, and whenever this character does quest, you pay 2 less for the next item you play. And whenever you play an item, draw a card. The card is just good. Period. It's probably going to be a 2 of in any deck that runs blue. In any deck that splashes or runs straight blue, this card will probably be a 2 of. Bare minimum. But yeah, I think these 40 cards, with the exception of Biding Your Time, I don't think this is actually staple. It might end up being staple. It could be. But I think that more along the lines of this. So here's your 1 costs right here and here. Your 2 cost, we need to put one more 2 cost in. Let me see. It's got on the side of the numbers. We got Real Princess. Coconut Basket's an item. I'm talking about actual characters. We'll run Facilier for now. Because I don't think there is a better 2 cost that's been revealed yet. Yzma, however you say her name, she's potentially good. Whenever this character quests, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, the top card from your deck, put it in either the top or bottom of your deck. It doesn't draw you a card, but it does at least let you determine what's coming up, if it's good or not, if you want to keep it. But I think I would rather have Dr. Facilier over her, because they both quest for 1. He's just bigger, and you want to challenge, right? You want to keep board control so you can set up your better card draw the next turn or 2. For your 3 drops, you've got Sorceress, you got Snow Queen. For your 4-drops right now, I've only got Zeus in there. Some other, I'll just put in Maleficent's Sinister Visitor as the other 4-drop just because it's solid. You could go Jafar. Oh, that was the other deck I forgot to mention, guys. I don't know. So maybe there's like 5 or 6 different ways you can go with the deck. Because the other one I wanted to mention, and that would also fix our 2-drop. Sorry, guys. I got to fix it real quick. Would be your Magic Broom 2-drop, which we're going to talk about in just a second, and Mickey Mouse. Where is he? This one. Wayward Sorcerer. Okay. Okay, first let me do the broom, the Bucket Brigade here, Magic Broom. It's a 2-cost 2/2 that's inkable, and it has sweep. Whenever you play this card, you may shuffle a card from any discard pile into its player's deck. So you understand how strong this is, right? So yes, most people are probably thinking, I can shuffle one of my cards back into my deck. Yeah, you can do that. That's fine. You can shuffle someone else's cards back into their deck, like, maybe a Fire the Cannons. That is very, very strong, guys. That takes a lot of power away from the steel decks. And on top of that, you're going to have this in conjunction with Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer, who's a 4-cost 3/4, inkable. All of this is inkable, guys. Like, almost everything in the deck is inkable. Quest for 2, animate Broom, pay 1 less to play Broom characters. So your Bucket Brigade is only going to cost you 1 whenever Mickey Mouse is down. And when Mickey Mouse is down, whenever one of your Broom characters is banished in a challenge, you may return that card to your hand. So your Bucket Brigade here, you're just going to be smacking into whatever you tap down with your Snow Queen, with your Elsa. And then when they get destroyed, you grab it right back to your hand. And one thing I want to point out is, it says when you play this card, you may shuffle a card from any discard into its player's deck. So you don't have to, okay? But the fact that you can is extremely powerful. So this is probably the core of any, this is what I would make the core of any deck. And for those who think I'm crazy for running Zeus, dude, you need to read this as pay 4, deal 4 to target exerted character. That's how I would read this. And then it has the double over at the end, or how do you say it? Like, he also doubles over as someone who can quest for 2 if he stays alive. So just very, very good stuff here. A lot of tapping for 2, Dreaming Guardian, Mickey, Aurora, Zeus. And again, this is only 44 cards. Notice up here, whoops, tried to highlight it. Notice up here where it says 44 cards. You still have 16 slots to add whatever you want to. I was just trying to make a decent curve for the deck. Your turn 1 play needs to be Pascal or Develop Your Brain. It needs to be one of those two. Biding Her Time is not horrible, but I don't think this is more of a control style deck. We're not trying to get as much lore as possible. We're trying to stabilize war control and win the game outright in the end. So your 2 1-drops are Develop Your Brain and Pascal. Your 2 2-drops are Regal Princess and Bucket Brigade, or Aurora and Magic Broom, excuse me. Your 2 3-drops are Elsa the Snow Queen and the Sorceress Maleficent. Your 2 4-drops are Zeus and Wayward Sorcerer. And then your 5-drop that we have are really, your 5-drop is really just Aurora. Because I don't like to include songs. Actions, yes. But songs and items I would not include as your cost drops for your curve. So the only thing we're at now are more 5-drops, But, we do have this new Donald Duck. We do have, well, that might be it so far. Donald Duck and Dreaming Guardian, I think, are the only ones. We didn't talk about Archimedes because he is like Flounder, Voice of Reason. They're the exact same card. It's just one's blue, one's purple. One costs 2/2, quest for 1. One costs 2/2, that quest for 1. We did not talk about Briar Rose, but I don't find this card that good. It's not as good as Scar Mastermind, because this one is a 4-cost 2/5 that only minuses 2 and quests for 1. Scar is a 6-cost 5/4 that quests for 2 and minuses 5. Or minuses 5, quest for 2. Yeah. So, I don't know. There's also Sven, and again, this deck is not complete. This is just the first 44 cards that I think consist of an excellent core for you to start with if you're leaning more towards the blue and purple cards. Well, guys, that's pretty much it. You know, the rest of these, I skipped over some cards like Olaf. He's a 1-cost 1/3 that quest for 1. Nothing crazy there, just a big body. Instead of being a 1-cost 2/2 that quest for 1, he's a 1-cost 1/3 that quest for 1. So they just subtracted 1 power, added 1 toughness, and there you go. What else? Sven, we kind of glossed over. 6-cost 5/7 that quest for 1. I don't think there's anything special. I think your average card for 6 will probably be a 6-cost 6/6 that quest for 1, you know, or maybe quest for 2 in that case. I'm not sure. We haven't seen many of the 6-cost vanilla cards like this. The only other card that's similar to this that I think is actually just better is a 5-cost from Steel, Cerberus. 5-cost 5/6 that quest for 1. That's insane. Because remember, the other one's a 6-cost 5/7 that quest for 1. This is a 5-cost 5/6 that quest for 1. I just think that's better, personally. Anyway, okay, so, and one more card we want to talk about, Robin Hood. This is definitely a good card, guys. Sorry, I'm glad I didn't forget this. This is a 6-cost 4/4 that quest for 2. That's not really the best part. The best part is he has evasive on your turn. So he is going to be able to take out the Pascals of the games, of the worlds. You know, he's going to be able, and he does have the potential to draw you cards. It's not a for sure, but when you play this character, if an opponent has more cards in their hand than you, draw a card. So he potentially cantrips, but that's not really why you're playing him. He's a 6-cost inkable 4/4 that quest for 2 that has evasive. So if they have a whole entire set of Pascals over there, well, now you can start taking them out with Robin Hood 1 by 1 if they don't deal with him as well. And with him being a 4 attack, if they try to deal with him, they're probably losing another character, which ends up balancing out. So yeah. There you go, guys. This is the core of the deck that I think Amethyst and Sapphire will be. I will probably be running this. This will probably be my first deck. This or Sapphire and Steel. I think Sapphire is such a strong card or color combination where it has Let It Go, it has Develop Your Brains, it has Dreaming Guardian, and it has your Regal Princess to just ramp into your Guardians. And we haven't even seen everything from these colors yet, remember, guys. And then purple is such an incredible complementary color. You don't have to run the Mickey Mouse Magic Broom package, but it's just a little 2-card package that it's good for it takes up your 2-drops and your 4-drop slots. It just seems like, why wouldn't you run it, right? That's kind of my mindset. It just seems really good. All right, guys, I'm just rambling at this point. Thank you all for stopping by, listening this far. If you did, please tell me what you think in the comments section below. Some ideas you might have, what you're thinking about running, maybe some combos I missed or some ideas. You know, like I said, just kind of tell me what you're thinking. Hopefully I gave you some ideas as well that, you know, that if you were thinking about running either of these 2 colors, maybe now you're thinking, oh, man, now I can run that synergy I heard. Hopefully it helps, like I said. Well, all right, guys, appreciate it. And until next time, peace.